Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Election Night 1920. In this historic presidential election, the Democrats, with their nominee James M. Cox, the governor of Ohio, are trying to keep the White House under Democratic control, while the Republicans, under the leadership of newspaperman Warren G. Harding and senator from Ohio also, are trying to flip the White House red. Our first polls will close at 7 p.m. in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stand by for a major projection. James M. Cox will carry the state of Georgia and its 14 electoral votes. The Democrats will carry the state of Georgia, a safe Democratic state, no surprise there. They will also carry the deep South state of South Carolina, another very Democratic state that should definitely be in their column. 9 electoral votes from there. They will also carry the state of Virginia, once a swing state, but it has become more solidly Democratic in the recent years. James Cox will carry Virginia's 12 electoral votes. Warren G. Harding will carry the critical swing state of Indiana and their 15 electoral votes. Right off the bat, we can make this projection at poll closing time. This is usually a very close swing state. Republicans did win it last election in 1916, but they will win it by a lot more this time around, a bad sign for Democrats. Warren G. Harding will also carry the safe Republican state of Vermont with their 4 electoral votes. In the state of Kentucky, typically very much a swing state, a very close state, usually in presidential elections, is too early to call. That is our projection as of right now. We cannot make an official projection in this race. It is too early to call. In looking at our initial electoral map, 266 are needed to win, and like what occurs after our first batch of projections, the Democrats do take a lead. James Cox has 35 electoral votes to Warren G. Harding's 19. But the Democrats are bracing for a very likely Warren G. Harding landslide. And the 7:30 p.m. poll closings. The polls are closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And stand by for a CNN projection. Warren G. Harding will carry the state of Ohio, his home state, also James Cox's home state, and this is a flip. This is a very critical flip from 1916, where Woodrow Wilson, our current president, won the state of Ohio by about 5-6%. But at poll closing time, we can project that Warren G. Harding will carry the state of Ohio. Both Harding and Cox are from the state of Ohio. That's 24 electoral votes. This is a very bad sign for Democrats, and a sign that they may get crushed. Warren G. Harding will also carry the swing state of Virginia. We can call this one at poll closing. And James Cox will carry the southern state of North Carolina in their 12 electoral votes. Looking at our updated electoral map, Warren G. Harding already takes the lead at 51 electoral votes to James Cox's 47. Our 8 p.m. poll closings close in 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand by for a CNN projection. Warren G. Harding will carry the state of Connecticut. A bigger win than the Republican candidate Charles Evans Hughes was able to get here in 1916. He will also carry the state of Delaware with 3 electoral votes. He will flip the state of Maryland. Woodrow Wilson, the Democrats, won this election in 1916. He will carry their 8 electoral votes. In Massachusetts, Warren G. Harding will carry the state's 18 electoral votes. New Jersey will go to Warren Harding. That's 14 electoral votes. Maine and their 6 electoral votes will go to Harding. Republicans will flip, in fact, the state of Missouri with their 18 electoral votes. That was a Democratic state in 1916. Warren G. Harding will carry the state of New Hampshire and their 4 electoral votes. He will also carry a major swing state, Illinois, with their critical 29 electoral votes. And Pennsylvania, the second largest state in the nation, Harding will win here with their 38 electoral votes. Rhode Island will go to Harding with their 5 electoral votes, as well as Oklahoma with their 10 electoral votes, this being a flip from 1916. James Cox will carry the solidly Democratic state of Florida with their 6 electoral votes, as well as Mississippi, another solid Democratic South state. Alabama will go to James Cox with their 12 electoral votes, and Kentucky, as we already projected, is too early to call, and it is still too early to call at this time. We do not have any updates on the state of Kentucky. Looking at our electoral map now, again, 266 are needed to win, and already, even with just half of the country with their polls being closed, Harding is already on the verge of victory at 211 to James Cox's 75. This is clearly a horrible night for Democrats, and James Cox, according to close sources with the Cox campaign, he is already preparing to give a concession speech tonight. In 8:30, polls will close in Arkansas in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And stand by for a projection. James Cox will carry the state of Arkansas. No surprise there. That's 9 electoral votes. And at our 9 p.m. poll closings, we have many, a very important round of poll closings. And those polls will close in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And stand by for project that Warren G. Harding, the senator and newspaperman from the state of Ohio, will win the presidency. This comes as a major development in the 1920 presidential race. The only serious question in this entire contest was who the Republican nominee would be, and after a very bitter and hard-fought race, Warren G. Harding has come out on top, winning not only the Republican nomination, but the presidency. Democrats have been on the defense this entire campaign season, with President Wilson being incredibly unpopular, historically unpopular, with this League of Nations being very unfavorable, and even the Democratic nominee, James Cox, choosing not to even campaign with President Wilson. This has all resulted in a resounding victory for the Republican Party in this election, and Warren G. Harding will be elected the next president of the United States, according to our CNN projection. He will carry the state of Iowa with their 13 electoral votes, as well as the state of Michigan with their 15 electoral votes, and the state of Minnesota. This one only went to Hughes by about half a percentage point, 0.5%, something like that, even less, in 1916. But this time around, Warren G. Harding will win it by much more than double digits. He will also carry the critical, usually swing state of New York with their 45 electoral votes, as well as Kansas with their 10, and Wisconsin with their 13. Nebraska will flip to the Republicans. It will go to Harding with their 8 votes, as well as Colorado. This will also flip, another 8 electoral votes going to Harding. In North Dakota, with their 8 electoral votes, they will vote for Warren G. Harding. South Dakota will go to Warren G. Harding, that should be 5 electoral votes, as well as North Dakota. And Wyoming, 3 electoral votes, as well as New Mexico, with their 5 electoral votes, all going to Warren G. Harding. Louisiana, with their 10 electoral votes, will go to James M. Cox, as well as Texas. The Democrats will hold on to the southern state of Texas with their 20 electoral votes. And looking at our electoral map, again, Warren G. Harding has been elected president. He has swept the nation in a huge, clear rejection of the Democratic Party. He has 352 electoral votes at this time, and only 266 were needed to win, and James Cox currently has only 114. And it is now time for the 10 p.m. poll close in Nevada, Montana, and Utah in 5, 4, 3, 2, won. And the state of Tennessee, this is a major historical key race alert. From the state of Tennessee, we can now make a projection in the previously too early to call state of Tennessee with their 12 electoral votes. It will vote Republican. This has been seen for decades as one of the core, solid South Democratic states that weren't going to ever vote Republican. But in this election, for the first time since 1868, where there were massive amounts of voter fraud and discrepancies in the vote totals, and we don't really know how states actually voted, Warren G. Harding, the Republicans, win the state of Tennessee. This is a very historical call. Even in the crushing defeat of Alton B. Parker, the Democrat, in 1904 against Teddy Roosevelt, Democrats were still able to win the state of Tennessee. He will also carry the state of Nevada with their 3 electoral votes. Harding will win Montana with their 4, and Utah also with their 4. And an update on the electoral map, Warren G. Harding now has 375 electoral votes, even expanding his lead. And the deep financial turmoil of the Democratic Party, that had very little money this campaign season, is being attributed to their big loss. And it is now 11 p.m. here on the East Coast, and polls close in California, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stand by for a major projection. James M. Cox of Ohio will carry the state of Kentucky with their 13 electoral votes. This is the first time in decades one party has won Kentucky, while the other has won Tennessee. James M. Cox will narrowly hang on to Kentucky. The Republicans, Warren G. Harding, will carry the state of California with their 13 electoral votes, another flip from 1916. They will also carry the state of Oregon with their 5 electoral votes, and Washington with their 7 electoral votes, as well as Idaho with their 4. And we now have our final map in this election season as this campaign comes to a close. 266 votes were needed to win. Warren G. Harding finished with 404, blowing out expectations. It was expected that Warren Harding would win, but by this margin is just astounding. 404 to James Cox's 127. This is one of the greatest election landslides in American history. And we do have breaking news coming out of Columbus, Ohio. James Cox is addressing supporters, and he has announced that he has officially conceded this presidential race, that he has called Senator Harding to congratulate him on his win. Looking at tweets now, James M. Cox, even after Harding was declared the winner, to tweet out a thank you post to specifically the state of Kentucky after he narrowly won that state. And Harding has responded with, "Okay, this is just sad at this point," unquote. And finally, looking at the popular vote, we have a resounding margin for Warren G. Harding. However, this raw vote number, how many votes each candidate got, is really interesting because due to the passage of the 14th Amendment, this is the first election nationwide where women have the right to vote. So this has increased voter turnout dramatically, and despite winning only over a third of the vote, and percentage-wise much less than Woodrow Wilson in 1916, James Cox has actually won more votes than Woodrow Wilson did in 1916. James Cox wins 9,140,000 votes, while in 1916, Woodrow Wilson won 9,126,000 votes. So, we have a very interesting dynamic there. But despite that, women were clearly on Warren Harding's side, He has won 60.4% of the nationwide vote, that being 16.2 million votes. James Cox wins 34.1% of the vote, that being 9.1 million votes. And Eugene Debs, now his fourth bid for the presidency from the Socialist Party, has run a strong campaign from jail, winning the most amount of votes that he has in all of his presidential campaigns. He wins 3.4% of the vote. So thank you all for watching this historical election night from 1920. Warren G. Harding won a resounding victory. I hope you all took something away from this election night of educational value. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all next time.